Hey, we got a twofer with Dave O, the Science Pro this morning. We're talking about strawberries, and we're talking about glass. So, you want to start with strawberries?
Let's start with strawberries,
right.
Russell. Yeah, two short stories, but I wanted to pass these along to you. How many times, if you've gone somewhere, you've gotten strawberries, you come home a couple days later, they're all mushy? Okay? Well, here's the thing. It may not be your fault. New research, now again, for strawberry growers, for people who just love strawberries in general, this is a horticultural scientist professor in Florida named Jeff Brett. He did some research on this, and he said, from basically farm to your house, sometimes it can take up to 7 to 10 days, and they're not properly being stored because they need to be, listen to this, at 34 degrees, so just above freezing. So he warns that breaking the so-called cold chain could actually ruin the batch. So here's the thing, grocery stores, and we know grocery stores, I mean, they can't keep everything refrigerated. I completely understand that. They often break this critical cold chain because they want you to smell the strawberries, right? They want that feel as you walk by and go, oh my gosh, fresh strawberries, so they can do that, right? So it kind of sucks you in to get the strawberries, but they're already on a path for decay just by being out kind of at room temperature or so, Russell. So to further the process, well, actually, to keep the process from decaying even further, what you need to do is get those strawberries home as fast as possible and get them in 34 degrees. So you get that little crisper drawer, you know, the one, those new fancy refrigerators, and get those at 34 degrees, and that will help to keep them longer. What do you think?
I'm learning something here. I'm learning something.
Yeah, you know, the problem is that, you know, it's so hard to keep them refrigerated from this, you know, from the farm,
of course, absolutely,
all the way to your house. It's just, it's hard to do. And if they're out for an hour or two or more, then they just start that process. So it depends on the batch you get. But to keep it longer, you want to keep it there at 34 degrees. It doesn't work for all fruit, though. It doesn't work for bananas because bananas only work when above 58 degrees.
Okay.
So keep those strawberries cold. Now, I've only got about a minute left. This is it was a very short article, and I wish it was a lot longer, but I think they've got a lot more research to do. And this is about finding trees inside windows, right? So they have found that it costs 25,000 metric tons of CO2 each year to try to produce glass. But now they've also found that with cellulose fibers and something called lignin that they can find inside trees, they can mash that down to produce glass. Not the problem, but what they also have to do is add sodium hydroxide to that to make it clear, because it's generally kind of a brown substance and you wouldn't be able to see through it. But they're also finding now that you're mixing that cellulose and that lignin together, and they're able to mat it down, put some sodium hydroxide in there, and it becomes durable, even more durable, and just as clear as glass.
Wow.
So does that mean we can save some on energy costs by doing it this way? My big question, which I can't answer right now for you, and I've looked and looked and there is no answer yet, is what is this going to do to the population of trees?
Well, there's that.
Is that going to be more of a problem if we try to save one energy? Are we going to end up reducing another one? So, but if not, because trees can be a renewable resource if we use them right, could this pave the way for more environmentally friendly glass?
Something fascinating to think about, though. Okay.
I wish I had more on this. It was a 2-page article, and I was like, I wanted more. So I'll keep researching more.
Good. All right. Thanks.
Okay.
See you.